Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here. And in today's video, going to be breaking down the NBA slate on Draftkings and Yahoo for Thursday, April the 7th. We got a 7-game Thursday slate. As always, guys, going to talk through each one of today's 7 games, break down each team, kind of give my early thoughts, what I do like, taking a first look at the slate on Wednesday night. It is worth noting at this point in the regular season, with only 3 or 4 days left in the regular season, there is going to be a lot of news that comes out during the day. We saw that happen on Wednesday's slate. Phoenix rested a bunch of guys. The Jazz rested a bunch of guys. When teams are on back-to-backs, when they don't really have much to play for, you're going to see some guys get rested, and there are some teams on back-to-backs today. So we always got to watch the injury reports at this time of the season. Got to pay attention to injury news, starting lineups. It's super, super important. So I always do, preach that in every video. I do live stream an hour before lock, so for those of you that maybe don't know about that, I do stream an hour before lock where you can come in and ask questions. I'm able to answer them. We normally stream for about 25-30 minutes. We talk through the injury news that comes out during the day. If anything's changed since I made my video the night before, we discuss that in the stream. So definitely check out my streams an hour before lock. I normally stream Monday through Friday, and I will be live for this slate, 6 Eastern. But yeah, guys, we're going to talk through these 7 games, give my early thoughts. Just before we do, hit that like button down below. I always appreciate the likes. If you're new to the channel and you have not yet, hit that subscribe button as well. And also, go check out the sponsor of the video, Prize Picks. So Prize Picks is a player prop-based DFS site. I'm sure most of you have heard of Prize Picks already, but if you have not signed up for Prize Picks yet, you want to give them a try, you can sign up with my promo code NOAH. They will match your first deposit up to $100 when you do sign up with my code. I do want to mention that I think Prize Picks, I saw them tweet this out pretty recently. They are live in Arizona. So if you actually live in Arizona, Prize Picks used to not be legal in Arizona, but it now is. So if any of you are watching this video and you live in Arizona and you wanted to play Prize Picks, but you haven't been able to, well, now you can. So you can sign up with my promo code, give it a try. Check out their board for NBA for today. A lot of other options as well, though. The Masters starts up Thursday morning, so if you're into golf, you could check out their board for the Masters. The MLB opening day is Thursday, so they've got MLB stuff up as well for opening day. A lot of ways you can play on Prize Picks. You can mix and match sports. You can run different entries with multiple sports. It's a ton of fun. I've been playing on Prize Picks for a while now, and I know a lot of you guys are playing over there as well. But if you have not signed up for Prize Picks yet, make sure to sign up and use promo code NOAH when you do. And as always, I do give out a couple of my favorite plays on Prize Picks each day. I will upload a video later on Thursday, probably sometime early Thursday afternoon, talking through a couple of my favorite plays for Prize Picks for today. We did actually go 4-0. We got a clean sweep, went 4-0 on the 4 picks we gave out in Wednesday's video. So make sure you're checking out those videos every day if you do play on Prize Picks. Like I said, those videos usually get posted early in the afternoon. But let's talk through this 7-game slate. Start off with the first game of the night, the Magic and the Hornets. So looking at the Magic today, this is a team that I've really been trying to avoid lately, just because with how they're in tank mode right now and how they're divvying up the minutes, it's hard for a lot of these guys to have huge games just because they're not playing huge minutes. But man, Mo Bamba had a massive game last game in only 29 minutes, put up 56 DraftKings points against Cleveland. And now he gets a great spot against Charlotte, one of the worst defensive teams against bigs. I know the price tag's come up a lot. He's up to 6,900 now, but I think Mo Bamba will be very low owned. So as a tournament play, the upside's definitely there, especially with all these guys out right now for Orlando. He should be really productive when he's out there. It's just a matter of how many minutes does he play. That's the big question right now. The minutes have really been, kind of tough to predict for these Orlando guys, but I think Mo Bamba plays 25 to 28 minutes, and he should be really productive when he's out there. The matchup's really good. He's viable, in my opinion. Markelle Fultz, I like quite a bit. So Markelle Fultz actually did start last game in place of Cole Anthony, and I'm expecting he'll once again start today with Cole Anthony already ruled out. Fultz, he's been on a minutes limit basically all season, but he did play the most minutes he's played all season. Last game, he played 24 minutes, and his production has been great this year. He's been super, super productive on a point per minute basis. He's averaged over a fantasy point per minute. The matchup here against Charlotte is obviously fantastic. This game should be really, really high scoring. I know on the season, Charlotte's been playing at a really fast pace. Orlando's been playing at a fast pace as well. So this is a good game to target. It's just a matter of if it can stay close. If it can, I think we get about 25, 26 minutes from Markelle Fultz. And as productive he's been this season when he's gotten minutes, I like him quite a bit at 5,200. We'll have to wait and see what other kind of value opens up as the day goes on. But Fultz is definitely someone I'm pretty high on. He's really cheap on Yahoo, so I like him a lot over there, only $13. He does stand out as a pretty good value play on Yahoo. And then you could go to Chuma Okeke. He should play probably 25 to 30 minutes. He got 33 minutes last game. He's still fairly cheap at 4,900. Again, I don't I'm not confident these guys get the same minutes that they played last game, but I think it is at least good to see that the minutes have been somewhat consistent for Mo Bamba, for Okiki. So Okiki I think's in play. Mo Wagner probably gets 20 to 25 minutes. He's in play, but at 4,600 I think he's kind of priced correctly. Jalen Suggs, he's been playing decent minutes, but first game back from injury they kind of limited him a little bit. Only played him 18 minutes. We'll have to wait and see like what kind of minutes limit he's on. If he's on a minutes limit, it wasn't even reported. I don't remember seeing a report that he was going to be limited. So yeah, like I'm not sure here. If Suggs is good to go to play normal minutes, then he's definitely someone I'm interested in. But I just don't know if that's going to be the case, given that they limited him to 18 minutes last game. And then RJ Hampton, his minutes were okay. He played 30, but he's been a really bad point per minute player this year. Even when he's gotten minutes, he hasn't been super productive. And I know Draftkings has been starting lately. He's been playing big minutes. He's another guy that's like not a great point per minute player, but if they're going to keep playing him 35 plus minutes like they have the last two games, I mean at 3,500, like I think Draftkings is kind of viable as a cheap option. Well, again, we'll have to wait and see what other value we get as the day goes on, but I normally don't like to target Orlando at this point in the season with how they're in tank mode, but the matchup is so good here that I think guys like Mo Bamba, Markelle Fultz, Chuma Okeke, Brosdikis, like these guys are in play for me. Suggs, if he's not on a minutes limit, could be viable too, but that's really it from Orlando. I don't think I'm going to anyone else on this team. And then on the other side with Charlotte, I mean, the matchup here is really good. The Magic, this season been playing fast. They haven't been super, good defensively either. So I think LaMelo Ball offers plenty of upside. Right now, Charlotte, they are trying to win games. I think right now Charlotte's the 10 seed. They can maybe move up in the standings for the 8 seed. I'm not exactly sure on that. I'm going to pull up the standings real quick because I think right now Charlotte is locked into the play-in tournament. But they're 1.5 games behind the Hawks and the Nets. So Charlotte, if they can win a couple of these few games, and then maybe Brooklyn loses a couple games, maybe Atlanta loses a couple games, Charlotte could move up from the 10 seed to the 8 seed, which would be huge. So I think Charlotte's going to be going all out here. They're going to try and win this game. So I'd expect big minutes from LaMelo. He's been really productive this season. Obviously, he's got a ton of upside. Matchup's really good. Definitely think Orlando's a pretty good spot for him. So I like LaMelo quite a bit in tournaments. Miles Bridges at 7,900 is a fine option. He's going to play 35, 36 minutes if it's a close game. Priced appropriately, but he's playable. Terry Rozier's really been struggling lately. He just hasn't been that good. I want to say at some point Rozier's going to have a big game. I don't know when it's going to be. He's done really well against Orlando this season for what it's worth. If you want to go to Terry Rozier, like I don't hate it. He should be very low owned, but obviously it's concerning that he's just been so bad lately. And the rest of Charlotte, I don't see much interest in anyone else on this team. PJ Washington, Gordon Hayward, if he plays, I'm not going to. Mason Plumlee's minutes have been really low. It's just hard for him to put up a ceiling game when he's only playing 24, 25 minutes at the most. So that's really it from Charlotte and from this game in general. So let's move on to the next one, Boston and Milwaukee. So looking at Boston today, they are one of the teams on a back-to-back, so we're going to have to watch the injury report for Boston. I know right now, so Boston is, they're half a game up on the Bucks for the 2 and the 3 seed. So I would think Boston tries to win this game, but it is a back-to-back. It's always concerning at this point in the season when teams are on back-to-backs, like there's always rest potential. So keep an eye on the injury report here. For now, I'm just going to expect everyone to play. If that's the case, I mean, Tatum and Brown, they're always viable, but I don't think on this slate they're going to stand out as priority spend-ups for me. I think there's other guys I'd rather be getting to that we'll talk about later. You do have Jokic on this slate. You have, obviously, Giannis on the other side of this game. Tatum is not someone I'm going to prioritize, but he's playable. Same with Jaylen Brown. Horford's been great. With Rob Williams out the last 4 games, Horford's been super productive. 36, 42, 34, and 41 Draftkings points. He's been playing really good minutes as well. Usually Horford is kind of the guy that they use to stop Giannis. He's kind of their defender on Giannis, so I would think Horford plays pretty big minutes here if it's a close game. Price tag has gotten up there, but he's still viable in my opinion. He might be my favorite play from Boston if I had to go to anyone today on this team at least, and that's really it from the Celtics. Again, the Celtics, they're on a back-to-back. They could maybe rest some guys today, but for now, if everyone is in, not a ton I love. I think Horford's probably my favorite play from Boston. And then on the other side with the Bucks here, so obviously the Bucks, they're only a half a game behind the Celtics for the 2 seed. I'm guessing Milwaukee's going to be trying to go all out to win this game. So I'd expect big minutes from Giannis. We've seen in these national TV games against these big-time opponents, Giannis will play huge minutes. I know against Philly, he played huge minutes in a close game. Against Brooklyn, he played huge minutes in a close game. Against Dallas, he played huge minutes in a close game. I think we get like 35, 36 minutes from Giannis here if the game stays close, which it should. At 12-1, I know he's expensive, but at this point in the season, there's just going to be value just because guys are going to get ruled out. It's going to happen every day. it's probably going to be pretty easy to build around Giannis. And right now, I think Giannis is someone I do want to try and build around. He might be my favorite stud on the slate. I think it's close between him and Jokic. I do like Giannis quite a bit, though. On Yahoo, I think he looks really good over there, $57 at power forward. One of the best pay-up options. Usually, any slate Giannis is on, he's going to be someone I prioritize paying up for. Even in a tough matchup against Boston, that doesn't worry me with a guy like Giannis. He's basically matchup proof. So really like Giannis today. The rest of Milwaukee, I don't see much else I like here. Brook Lopez coming off a huge game, but I'll probably just let other people chase that. Brook Lopez this season not been a super productive player. So anytime a guy has a big game and they're not that productive, usually on their season averages are not that great. I'm usually just fine fading them. So if Brook Lopez goes out there tonight and puts up 45, 46 DraftKings points again, then so be it. But I'm not going to chase that, especially not at 5K. And yeah, that's really it for Milwaukee. So next game, we'll talk about Philly and Toronto. Looking at the Sixers today, you obviously got Embiid and Harden at the top here, who are always in play. I think this is a tougher spot for Embiid going up against Toronto. Toronto's a good defensive team. They do a good job of slowing down the opposing team's best player. Embiid's been just dominant, though, these last few games. I mean, you can look at his game log. 60, 64, 55 in a blowout, 83, 67. Like, he's just been crushing. 68. Basically, he's put up 60-plus DraftKings points in almost every competitive game over their last 6 or 7 games. The one game he didn't get over 60 when he had 55 against Charlotte, he didn't even play in the fourth quarter. So Embiid's just been dominant lately. I still don't think he's going to be the stud I prioritize today. I think I'd rather get to Jokic and Giannis. But man, Embiid's definitely my favorite play on Philly if I had to play anyone on the Sixers. Harden at 10-2. I don't love in this spot against Toronto. He's just been so tough to predict this season with the Sixers. He does always offer a big ceiling and can put up a big game any night, but not going to be someone I build around tonight. And the rest of the Sixers I'm not interested in. Matisse Thybulle's out, but I don't think that really matters at all. We could maybe see someone else slide in the starting lineup, like maybe they start, Georges Niang. Maybe they start Danny Green, but I don't think those guys are going to be viable options. So that's really it for this for the Philly side. Let's move on to the other side with Toronto. And looking at Toronto today, Toronto's not a team I love either, just because when they're fully healthy and where they're priced at, nobody really stands out. Siakam's going against Embiid, so I don't love that spot. Plus, he's really expensive at $9,500. Fred VanVleet's been so tough to predict lately. He had a really, really bad shooting game, and I remember it vividly because I took his over in points last game, and he shot 4 for 21 and 2 for 12 from 3. VanVleet can put up a big game any night. He might be my favorite play from the Raptors if I had to go to anyone here. I definitely would rather play him over Scotty. I think with him and Scotty being priced where they're at, I'd just rather get to VanVleet. Gary Trent at 5,800 is always a wild card. He's got to have a big shooting game to really put up a big ceiling. He can always get hot, but he doesn't stand out to me. OG's questionable. If he gets ruled out, I don't think that matters too much. It just gives a small bump up to all the starters. There's really not going to be any value from Toronto that I'm looking to. So Toronto's kind of an unappealing team today. If I had to go to anyone on Toronto, I think my favorite play is probably 7,800 VanVleet. That'd be my favorite play on the Raptors. But let's move on to the next game, San Antonio and Minnesota. So San Antonio today, once again, going to be without DeJounte Murray, who's out for, I think, an illness. So without DeJounte Murray, we know kind of the biggest beneficiary, at least his direct backup, has been Trey Jones. And Trey Jones has been great. The last 3 games he started in place of Murray. He's played 33, 34, and 33 minutes, so the minutes have been super consistent. 32, 40, and 39 DraftKings points. 5,300, I still think it's too cheap for Trey Jones. When DeJounte's out and Trey Jones is playing 33, 34 minutes a night, he should be 7K. So I still like Trey Jones a ton. I think he's one of the best plays on the slate once again. He was really chalky last slate, and it was good chalk in my opinion, and I think he's going to be really chalky again, but I'm fine eating it. I think it's good chalk once again. So really like Trey Jones. I think Keldon Johnson's role is going to be really good. He should play big minutes. He's been productive without DeJounte this season, and obviously should get a bump in usage as well. So I'm fine with Keldon. Pirtle going up against Cat. I don't love this spot. Pirtle, I think, definitely could struggle with fouls here. Cat is really good at drawing fouls. We saw Pirtle get in foul trouble last game against Jokic. I would not be surprised if that happens once again here, going up against Towns, who's one of the best centers at drawing fouls. So not super high on Pirtle. Devin Vassell, I think is questionable. No, he's probable, so he's expected to play. He definitely benefits without DeJounte, and we've seen him have some good games lately with DeJounte out. So, if you want to go to Devin Vassell, I don't hate it. He is 6K now, so that's a pretty high price tag, but Vassell's fine, and that's probably all that I'm looking to on San Antonio. And then on the other side with Minnesota, so Karl-Anthony Towns at 9,600, He's been great in this matchup against San Antonio. He has just crushed against San Antonio this season. Every time he goes up against Pirtle, he just destroys him. An average of 70 DraftKings points through 2 games against the Spurs this season. They played twice. I want to see the 2 games he played. So let's see. He had 89 DraftKings points. So the game he put up 60 points, that was against the Spurs. And then they played another time this season. Let's see if I can find it. Find it in the game log. Where is it at? Yeah, so he put up 51 DraftKings points earlier this season, back in November. But I know historically, even looking at previous seasons, Cat seems to always destroy Pirtle. So I think it's a really good matchup for Cat. He's more of a tournament play on this slate, but the upside is definitely there, and a matchup that he's had a lot of success in the past. Anthony Edwards at 7,600, I think is fine. He's going to play pretty big minutes here. If it's a close game, 35 to 36 minutes. He's been super inconsistent this season, but the consistency has started to look a little bit better. He's definitely been better over his last 5 games. So don't mind, Anthony Edwards. This is a game that definitely should be like really, really high scoring on the season. Both these teams are playing super fast. The Timberwolves are first in pace on the season, and the Spurs are 4th in pace. So you should expect a really high scoring game here. Like if you want to stack up this game, I don't hate it. Obviously, Edwards is in play, Cat's in play. D'Angelo Russell, I do like quite a bit, though, for 6,800. So D'Angelo Russell is kind of similar to Anthony Edwards. He's been really inconsistent lately. We haven't seen a bunch of big games from Russell, but the last 3 games, he's definitely started to improve. The minutes have still been really good. The production's been better, 35, 44, and 38 DraftKings points the last 3 games. And it is worth noting that Patrick Beverley was out last game, which I think was really big for Russell. I mentioned it in the stream after Beverley got ruled out. Russell's assist numbers see a big bump whenever Beverly's out, and he had 11 assists last game. He just gets the ball in his hands more whenever Beverly's off the floor. So if Patrick Beverley sits again, I think that's a nice boost for D'Angelo Russell. And at 6,800, I like D'Angelo Russell quite a bit today. Now, if Beverly plays, I'll be a little less high on Russell, but he would still be viable for me. And on Yahoo, he's only $24 at shooting guard. He does stand out as one of the better shooting guard plays on Yahoo today. So I'm pretty high on D'Angelo Russell. He might be my favorite play from Minnesota, followed by Towns, followed by Edwards. Don't know if I'm getting to anyone else on Minnesota, though. I don't think there's anything else that stands out here. So let's move on to the next game, Portland and New Orleans. So Portland, I mean, you know what Portland is at this point in the season. They're full-blown tanking. They're sitting, all these guys are out. We know the players they have available. They still have 10 or 11 bodies, so they've got plenty of available players. I don't love much on Portland, especially where the price tags are at now. Everyone's kind of been priced up. Do want to note that Brandon Williams is questionable. He did not play last game. If he does not play again, that definitely benefits Chris Dunn. And we saw Chris Dunn start last game in place of Brandon Williams. Played 30 minutes, was pretty productive, had 29 DraftKings points, 7 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists. I think if Brandon Williams gets ruled out again, I definitely think Chris Dunn is in play, and he's probably my favorite play from Portland if I had to pick anyone on this team. Keon Johnson's definitely been playing better as of late. He had a huge game last game, so I don't mind going to Keon Johnson at 5,300. Probably next in line for me if I'm looking to anyone on Portland. I think Keon Johnson would probably play in a blowout as well. His minutes have been really good, even in blowouts. So I don't mind Keon Johnson at 5,300. Blake Eubanks at 7K. I don't love it, that price tag. Williams, if he plays, I'm not super high on. Portland, they are a team that, they're going to really spread out the minutes for the most part, and obviously there's a lot of blowout risk here, but I think guys like Keon Johnson, Dunn, if Williams is out, are in play for me, and that's probably all I'm looking to on Portland. Now on the other side with New Orleans, so right now Jonas Valanciunas is questionable for the Pelicans, which is actually a pretty important injury to monitor, because last game we did see J-Val get ruled out, and we saw Willie Hernan-Gomez start in place of J-Val, and he was really productive, as you would expect. Hernan-Gomez has always been a productive player when he gets minutes. He had a double-double, 34 DraftKings points in 26 minutes. Right now, I think the Pelicans are pretty much locked into their standings, where they're at in the standings. Right now, the Pelicans, they're the 9 seed. They have a 1-game lead on the Spurs for the 10 seed, but, 9 seed, 10 seed, it doesn't really matter. The Pelicans want to try and get the 8 seed, but they're 4 games behind the Clippers, so they really are not going to be able to get the 8 seed. So pretty much the Pelicans are locked into the 9 or 10 seed right now. They're going to get one of the two. So there's not much incentive for them to really push Valanciunas here. So honestly, I think Jonas Valanciunas is going to sit again. And if he does, Willie Hernan-Gomez is going to be one of the best value plays on the slate. This is a later game. It's an hour after lock. I don't know when we're going to get this news, but I think J-Val is probably going to sit again. If he does, love Hernan-Gomez. He's going to be probably one of the best values. He's cheap on both sites. He's only $11 on Yahoo. I like him a ton over there. I think Jackson Hayes would benefit as well. We saw Jackson Hayes Jackson Hayes have a really good game last game without J-Val, played 29 minutes, had 44 DraftKings points. I think his production, point per minute wise, would definitely benefit without J-Val. I think the minutes would be higher as well. I mean, we saw that be the case last game. So I think Jackson Hayes would also get a bump if Valanciunas sits, and there'd be more usage available from McCollum and Ingram. I worry about those guys a little bit just because obviously this is a game that doesn't really mean much to the Pelicans. They don't need to win this game. I don't know how much they really want to push McCollum and Ingram right now. They need to, they want those guys healthy and ready for the play-in tournament. So I'm kind of looking more to like Hernan Gomez and Hayes just because I think those guys are going to get pretty good minutes regardless and might even play in a blowout. I'm not really looking to anyone else on Portland though. So let's move on to the next game. We got two more. So Memphis and Denver. Looking at Memphis today, right now, I don't know if we have any update on Ja Morant. They said about 2 weeks ago, they said he would be reevaluated in 2 weeks, but I don't think he's going to play today. Right now, DraftKings has him listed as questionable, but I'm expecting Morant to be out still. With Morant out, we obviously know that it benefits really everyone, and I don't think on this slate really anyone on Memphis stands out just because they've all been priced to where they should be. Like Bane is 7,500, Triple J 7,300, Dillon Brooks is 6,600. Dillon Brooks did not play last game, and he's questionable for today. We can monitor this, but I don't think it matters too much. Tyus Jones is 6,200. Maybe Steven Adams against Denver, like we could go to here. I think Steven Adams' minutes are going to be really good if this game does stay close, just because they're going to need his size out there against Jokic. And when they've played Denver this season, the minutes for Steven Adams have been really good. He's played over 31 minutes, an average of 31 minutes through 3 games against the Nuggets. So I think we get like 30, 31 minutes from Steven Adams here. He might be my favorite play on Denver on Memphis if I had to play anyone. But Memphis, they're kind of another team I'm a little bit worried about right now just because they're pretty much locked into the 2 seed. They have a 5-game lead on the Warriors for the 2 seed, and they're 8 games behind the Suns for the 1 seed. So they're basically locked into the 2 seed. Memphis doesn't really have anything to play for right now. How much do they want to push these guys in a game they don't have anything to play for? That's a concern. Not loving much on Memphis, but if I had to play someone, it probably would be Steven Adams. And then the other side with Denver. So Denver, they still need to win games right now. They're 2 games up on the Timberwolves for the 6th seed. So obviously Denver does not want to fall fall into the play-in. They want to keep the 6th seed. So I expect Denver to be going all out to try and win this game. I expect Nikola Jokic to play huge minutes. He played 40 minutes last game in regulation against San Antonio. Just continues to dominate every single night. I mean, he took 35 shots last game. Like Jokic's usage right now is just absurd. He's crushing every single night, 70-plus DraftKings points in literally 6 straight games. 6 straight games of 70 DraftKings points or more for Jokic. The dude's unreal. He's been the best fantasy asset this season. He's been the number 1 option in fantasy this year. I think him and Giannis are my 2 favorite studs on this slate, and depending on how much value opens up as the day goes on, this could maybe be a slate where we do have enough value to where we could play multiple studs. And if I can build around Jokic and Giannis, that's kind of the way I'm looking to go. Obviously, Jokic is a great play today. The rest of Denver, though, I'm not really looking to anyone else. I don't think Aaron Gordon or Will Barton are really viable today. I mean, they're always playable, but they're not guys I ever get to. I know Aaron Gordon's been playing better lately, but the price tag's also gotten up to 6,600, so I'm fine just avoiding him at 6,600. That's really it for Denver. It's just Jokic that stands out here. So let's move on to the last game of the night, the late night hammer, the Lakers and the Warriors. So representing my Lakers today, got my LeBron shirt on, got a Lakers snapback on. Sadly, my Lakers got officially eliminated from the playoffs last game, and who knows what the hell they're going to do today. Obviously, the Lakers have nothing to play for these final few games of the season. I'd be very surprised if LeBron plays again this season. He might. I think he does have to play another game or two to be able to get the scoring title. I think I read that correctly. I saw that earlier. So maybe LeBron does play at some point this season, but at this point, I don't think it's really, they don't have to push these guys because they're done. Like their season's over. And I did check the line. Like right now, the Warriors are favored by 12.5. I don't think the Warriors would be favored by 12.5 here if LeBron and AD were playing. So I think it's very likely the Lakers are going to sit some guys. LeBron's probably not playing. AD probably doesn't play. Westbrook might play. Westbrook normally, even when he's questionable, he normally does play. I don't even know if he's missed a game this season. Like I think Westbrook's been out there for almost every game. So maybe Westbrook plays, but right now the Lakers are just a tough team to break down. This is the late night game. It's the one West Coast game we have on the slate. And this is obviously huge news because if LeBron, AD, and Westbrook are all out, I mean, it's just value galore on the Lakers. THT, he would probably play in a blowout, and he would be the best value play on the slate. 4,200 for THT. If all the Lakers guys are out, I would love THT today. I think Malik Monk would get a big bump. I definitely would be worried about blowout just because I don't think Malik Monk would play in a blowout. But his usage would be incredible. Carmelo would take a ton of shots. Obviously, Carmelo would not play in a blowout, but the usage would be great for him. Dwight Howard would get decent minutes, I would think, if AD, Westbrook, LeBron are all out. Then you got guys like Austin Reeves, Wenyen Gabriel, Stanley Johnson, who could be viable too. It's just a tough team to break down until we get word on LeBron, AD, and Westbrook. For right now, I'm just going to avoid the Lakers if everyone's in, but I don't think that's going to be the case. I think the most likely scenario is that at least one of these guys, if not, two, maybe all three of the Lakers stars are sitting today. So could be a team, we just kind of load up on. If all of LeBron, AD, and Westbrook are out, THT at 4,200 is going to be my favorite Laker play by far. But we'll just have to watch that news throughout the day. And then on the other side with Golden State, so, Golden State still without Steph Curry. We kind of know at this point, who's going to benefit without Steph. It's been Jordan Poole. It's been Klay Thompson. These guys' price tags, though, have really gotten up there now. Like, Jordan Poole is 8,500. I know Jordan Poole's been fantastic without Steph, but 8,500 is a lot to pay for Jordan Poole. The matchup against the Lakers is great, and I think this is a spot where Poole could definitely have a huge game, but 8,500 is just too expensive. Klay at almost 8K, I think is just too expensive. Klay can get hot any game and always put up a big game. His minutes have been really good. He's basically no longer on a minutes limit. I mean, he's played 39 and 40 minutes, so Klay can get hot, but at almost 8K, I'm not super high on him. Same with Andrew Wiggins. Draymond's minutes have been slowly getting better. Like, he played 24. That was on a back-to-back, though, but he did play 31 against Phoenix, 33 against Utah. Like, if we get 30, 32 minutes here from Draymond, he's got triple-double upside anytime he steps on the floor. We know Draymond can stuff the stat sheet and does everything when he's out there. I do worry about blowout, though, because I don't think, Draymond's obviously not going to get any blowout run. So that's the one concern. But if the game stays close, I think Draymond has plenty of upside here. And that's probably all that I'm looking to on Golden State. Right now, this is a game that I'm not super high on, but that could definitely change. If all those Lakers guys are out, then there's just going to be a ton of target from the Lakers, and we obviously talked about who benefits there. If you wanted to run it back with someone on the Warriors side, I think Draymond's fine. I think maybe Poole or Thompson you could go to. But that's it for that game, and that's it for these 7 Thursday games. So I appreciate you guys watching the video. As always, if you enjoyed, hit that like button down below. Hit that subscribe button as well. Go check out the sponsor of the video, PrizePicks. Sign up for PrizePicks. Use promo code NOAH. When you do, PrizePicks will match your first deposit up to $100 when you do sign up with my promo code. And as we mentioned at the beginning, today's a big sports day. Got the Masters starting today, MLB opening day, and obviously we have 7 NBA games tonight. So a lot to choose from on PrizePicks. They offer a ton of sports outside of just NBA. If you want to, dabble into those other sports yourself, you can check them out though. Sign up with my promo code. Get your first deposit matched up to $100 when you do sign up. But that's all I got for this slate, guys. I wish you the best of luck, and as always, appreciate you watching the video. Hope you enjoyed. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.